PD Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Hello.
This is Driving Home, the movie, and it's very convenient that we're driving home, isn't it? Isn't it?
Be?
Because the movie we saw tonight was called Home.
What?
See what I did there? This was a movie we went to see a few weeks ago, and then like I forget what movie came out instead, and we decided to go see it. So we went to see it tonight at probably what's going to be like the last weekend for it, maybe.
Probably one of the last weekends.
One of the last weekends. It was.
Although to be fair, nothing's coming out next weekend.
I know, and then Avengers comes out after.
Oh, you know what? I just saw there's one movie maybe to see next weekend.
Okay. But this movie was charming. It was actually like, okay, we'll get into the specifics, and there were a few things where it was like, it didn't really need to be a joke, but most of it was actually good. It was good, and I really liked it. What did you think, hon? Now wait, with the preface that Mike, who is a student in college, had to go out and because he forgot that he had a test to take or quiz to take, so he had to do it on his phone, an online quiz.
I was in the lobby for only like 10 minutes. I
know, but you missed like good stuff. You missed like two of my favorite jokes from the movie. He missed, and I was like, I want to remember this so I can tell him. So we might have to rent this movie so I can show you, because they were legitimately like, there were very few people in the theater because it was a late showing for a movie that's been out for a while, and so I was the only person that laughed out of like maybe the 8 people that were in the theater, but I laughed hard at those 2 jokes. Anyway, so Mike missed a little bit of it, and I will try to bring up those parts, because I think that you might have liked it a smidge more if you had seen those parts. But with the parts that you did see, how did you like it?
I liked it. It was fine.
Worth a ticket?
Yeah, worth a ticket. I would say you probably don't need to see this in 3D. I
was gonna say that would be probably one of the things. We saw it in 3D just because it was the only showing that we had. But and it was okay. I barely noticed the 3D, which is weird because usually computer animated movies, they do a much better job of the 3D. I'm not talking about just like in your face stuff, but just in general. There were a few bits that it worked better.
In general, you feel the depth a little bit more usually.
But this one, it wasn't much. I could have easily have watched it just in regular. So it's essentially, this is a movie about colonization and how it's a bad thing. That's literally all this is. I mean, and you kind of got that. You could have catch that from the trailers a bit, but yeah, it is about colonization. These aliens come to Earth because they are being chased by this mean, planet-destroying alien race. And what they do is they colonize, and they put everybody, they take all the
current inhabitants and throw them into useless space somewhere else on the planet.
Yeah, and they see us as barbarians or as savages, so they put us in little, essentially like zoos that no one, but they don't really care about. So they put all the humans in their own little space that they call human land. And they're like, here's a ball pit and some ice cream. And look, there's a Ferris wheel, enjoy. And they're all, everyone's scared and confused. And this one little girl is left simply because her cat got in the way of them scanning her, so they didn't see her. And so she lives on her own. And I like that they showed how she was kind of surviving. She kind of survived in her own little spot until the movie started. And then on the other side, there's this one alien whose name is O, because everybody groans when he walks in because he is constantly messing up. And he doesn't. He's a little more happy and chipper, and he wants to make friends. And we'll get to his personification. But yeah, he's different from the other aliens, and he ends up, after he makes a big mistake that could destroy everything, he goes on the run. He happens to meet the girl, and then he promises the girl that they will figure out what happened to her mom. And that's basically the premise, is them going on an adventure with her mom's car, which has turned into a flying car thanks to him, and they go on an adventure to try to find out what happened to her mother. The thing is that I think everybody saw that Jim Parsons was the voice of the alien, went, ugh, because Big Bang Theory is kind of obnoxious. With this, I feel like, you know, I could imagine his face the entire time, but I didn't find his character particularly grating. I warmed up to him, you know what I mean? Should we talk about about the aliens' voices?
Go ahead.
The boov.
Yeah.
Boov. You hear that word the whole time. That's, I think, one of the things that will probably drive people nuts, is that the alien likes to talk about his race a lot, and his race is called the boov. And so they talk about, boov do not do this, boov do not do that. He also kind of has a bit of a backwards talk. Not so much Yoda. It's a little closer to regular English, but I can see why people would be annoyed by it. I didn't find it as grating, and I think it's maybe because I'm already so... basically, I get kind of annoyed when aliens can speak perfect English anyway. Just because, like, how did they learn this? And yes, the aliens in this still speak English, but the fact that it's slightly off from our English makes it a little bit better for me. You know what I mean?
Yes. I think, on the whole, if you were to condense some of this movie down and, like, combine certain, like, scenes with other scenes, and maybe we can get into this later, that you could stretch out this movie a little bit more, and maybe then the annoyance of their talking would be less impactful.
I don't know. I actually thought it was decently paced. It's a little, there are some dips here and there, but I thought that when they did montages, which they did a few times in the movie, they did a good job of actually showing growth, because that's what montages are supposed to show things happening. Like, they're supposed to show things happening in a relatively short amount of time compared to what the time that's actually happening. So while they're traveling, there's a lot of them spending time together as they get to know each other and care about each other. And that felt real. And that was that was a little bit of what you missed. So it might have felt a little bit more meaty for that part, you know?
Okay, but I'll say, like, transitioning from one scene to the next scene to the next scene to the next scene, everything's very snappy. Everything's very quick. And there's barely a few moments where there's actually no dialogue going on outside of the montages. And it just sort of, like, moves very fast because everyone's almost always saying a line. Okay,
that's fair. I didn't mind it as much, but that's just me. What else should we talk about? Well, like I said, the talking might be a little bit of annoyance to you, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't think it was annoying. I just could see how people could find it annoying.
Annoying, yeah.
And really, if they slowed down the pace a little bit, I think it would have been much easier to grasp.
Maybe. The other thing I think...
Like, there's plenty of times where there's, oh, we have to go... You know, we have to go to Paris, and then we have to go to Australia, and then we have to go to if we could have condensed some of this information and traveling stuff down a little bit, we could have maybe seen, you know, more, you know, scenes, you know, at a slower pace.
I guess. The one thing I will say that kind of confused me about the aliens is that, like, so the, who's the main, O is the main boov, sorry. And like, at the beginning of the movie, yeah, he moves into this apartment complex that they've taken, all of the ones that they've taken over, and he's like, oh yeah, party at my house, and the other boovs go, boovs do not party. Like, how do you know the concept of partying if you don't
Do it.
Do it. I mean, I know that they imply that they've interacted with other species, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you know all these concepts? And how would he be like, oh, friends! Boobs do not have friends. How do you... Like, you aren't born with this particular knowledge, or at least this word, like the vocab.
There's a lot of logic flaws in this movie, especially why, when you reply to an email and you hit send all, it just sends it to everyone in the universe.
And how has that not already happened to someone? Because they make this joke, which was kind of a funny joke, where he's like, "Oh, I am sorry, I sent it to all." This seems like an issue with the software. This seems like a software flaw more than anything. But then it's like, if that's true, then why hasn't this happened before? Why haven't messages been sent before if it's an easy mistake to make?
And when you send it all, it sends it conveniently to your enemies as well.
Yes, to everyone in space. And they have a timer to know exactly where the enemy is.
Know exactly where he is. So.
I will say, all right, so besides that tech flaw, I will say that the designs of the alien technology was really fun.
Yeah, both aliens actually.
Yeah.
They
have bubble technology, which was really, they were able to do so many cool chase scenes and so many cool little things because they actually went crazy with these cool designs. And that, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for in an interesting kids movie,
Yeah, the invading aliens were very, what's the aliens in Hitchhiker's Guide?
Oh, I don't remember. Vogons?
Vogons? Yeah.
Yeah, it was very... Yeah, the technology was very...
They're sort of neon Vogon.
They were like triangle, mean metal triangle things compared to the bubbly roundness of it. It was a very interesting design.
And then you see the real alien on the inside.
No, you're spoiling it! There was some... I did like how they ended it. You kind of figure it out. It's not that hard to pick up. You figured it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so, and there was some really interesting stuff going on as far as, the main aliens, all they do is run away. That's their first thing. They make a point of saying that if the plan they have has a probability less than 50%, they quit it. They never do it. And so part of it is about taking chances too. Taking chances and believing in yourself a little bit, but realizing that you're probably going to make mistakes, but that mistakes are part of the reward. So there are a few different messages there besides the colonization part. The other thing I want to talk about is Tip, who is the main character. What's great about this protagonist is that she is a little black girl, and you never see that. You don't get to see movies very often centered around young black women, and that was really cool. And I liked her. She's voiced by Rihanna. I think the only off-putting thing about it is that Rihanna also does the soundtrack, so you would hear her singing voice, and sometimes it's like, does Tip realize that the music on the radio right now sounds exactly like her? That would be my only complaint about Rihanna's, but that's more about the soundtrack. I liked her a lot, and I thought she was really engaging. I liked the fact that they gave her a lot of stuff to do. She's not always rescued by her new alien friend. She's actually the one coming up with plans and being daring and stuff. They have this bit where she uses her makeup to, that was actually kind of a funny, I really liked that moment where she has all this makeup and she's going to make him a disguise. And the first thing she does is put a little beauty mark on there. And he looks in the mirror and goes, oh, I look like a different person. And he's so happy. She's like, no, I've barely done anything. Oh, it's perfect. And yeah, and then everybody is completely, nobody recognizes him. So that when he's ultimately revealed and the thing is smeared off, they go, oh my gosh, that was him? It made me happy. Look, these aren't hard jokes to make, but I still enjoyed them.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely no very long distance, really thinking about it, jokes in this movie.
There were a couple, though, that you missed, and I told you about them, but I want to get to them because they were great. There's this part where they need parts for their flying car that they have, right? And they find one of the crash ships of one of the bad guy aliens. And so they go looking at it, and luckily it's a drone. That was one of the things that they were really worried. They're like, oh good, there's no actual evil alien in this one. So they look through the parts. Oh, first of all, he doesn't want to do it, and this is the first joke. He doesn't want to go there. He's like, I cannot use those parts. They are metric. And I chortled. I went, ha! In the theater full of like 8 people. I'm like, oh god, they all hate me now. But I thought that was hilarious. And then the other joke was, so they find this like chip, this special chip from the alien ship, and O says, oh, this is a super chip. And she says, what makes it so super? And he goes, it is actually mostly marketing. However, and that made me laugh too, because aliens apparently have marketing, and they use the same crappy marketing choices, like putting super in front of a word to make it seem fancy.
Great bubonic.
Yeah, exactly. It is mostly marketing. However, it is also a super-powered chip. It made me... Look, I'm easily entertained sometimes, and those kinds of jokes make me chuckle. The other thing I really like, so again, her whole arc is about finding her mom. And in any other movie, they would have had her fighting with her mom right before she got abducted. And it would have been all about how she wanted to say she was sorry, and but she was so mad at her mom then, but now she learned her lesson. That doesn't happen in this movie. No. She just really likes her mom. She loves her mom. They have a good relationship. You find out that they actually immigrated from Barbados to be in, I think they're in New York. I don't know if they ever established. I think they're in New York. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe it was in New York. I can't remember. Point being, so they show a little scene beforehand where they were abducted on Christmas of all times, which, by the way, was terrible timing on the part of the booth. Because like if there's one day out of the year, even for the majority of non-Christian people, there is a good amount of just like general cheer on Christmas. You don't want to mess that up by kidnapping people and putting them on a little island. Or a big island in this case. But no, there was a lot of good stuff with the mother and daughter stuff. They build it up so you get that their relationship is strong, that she loves her mom, that she just wants to be with her. So by the time that they get her to her mom, I mean, I was seriously moved, Yeah,
that was a good scene.
I think just like those things alone. I also like the fact, because if you've seen me on Twitter, I have ranted a few times about people who are angry about selfies, because I feel like girls taking pictures of themselves and like enjoying how they look and wanting to take pictures because they're happy should not be like seen as a bad thing. So not only does she use makeup to get as part of a plan to save the day, but she also like takes selfies with her new friend, and like the camera is a big part of the movie. It's one of the plot points and stuff. And then there were just a lot of stuff that they did right. And
one of the sad tags towards the end of the movie is, she's looking for her mom, but the only picture of her mom she has is actually on the phone, and the phone's about to die.
Yeah, that was because she doesn't know if she's ever going to find her. She only knows like the little sector that her mom's in on this big island. She doesn't know exactly where she is. And she's a kid, so
it was sad.
Yeah, it was sad. There were a lot of good parts of this movie. A lot of like looking at a lot of stuff about empathy. I don't think they ever said empathy, but it was basically like, why aren't you put your myself in my shoes. And then, of course, he goes like, I cannot wear your shoes, my
pods would not fit.
My pods would not fit. Of course, there are a lot of goofy jokes, but it's a movie for kids.
Try to feel how I feel, which is another way of saying empathy.
Yeah, exactly. I think the only thing that really bugged me about the jokes, they did have a pooping joke where you find out that the aliens have something called a number 3. And he goes, you do not wish to see that. It would probably kill you. We only do it once a year. It's not really a holiday, but we do have to take time off of work.
We have to take the day off.
And then right after that, he goes into the bathroom.
Also, there's no explanation why they use the same hour system and year system that we do. Despite the fact they just came here.
There are a few things. Look,
there's a lot of logic.
There's a lot of things we could nitpick. There are also a lot of, but yeah, and then like right after the thing about the number 3, he ends up going to the bathroom, in the men's bathroom, and eating
He eats a urinal cake.
He eats a urinal cake, and he's like, perhaps this yellow water will, oh no, the yellow water is bad!
Do not drink the lemonade.
Do not drink the lemonade! How does he know what lemonade is?
It's an easy way for the audience to know the water is yellow.
No. So, yeah, there were a few bits where I was just like, was that really necessary? Did you need to make a poop joke? Did ya? It was too classy until then? You needed to bring it down a notch? I loved the designs on the aliens because of how they were really good about showing the aliens' colors changing with their moods. Like, even the background aliens, they did that a lot. And I liked that a lot. It was very consistent, and it gave them, it gave you more stuff to look at. And there was a lot of cool stuff to look at in this movie. So that was really, I thought that was really well done. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can, off the top of my head. I wouldn't say, I don't know how much longer you can see this movie in theaters. I think it's a decent rental. Even if you don't have kids, I think this is a good watch. If you can handle, a little bit of kids' movie shenanigans, they keep it to mostly minimum. Jim Parsons, I think, is better as an alien than he is as a human character, so that's something. And I really liked Rihanna. I liked her a lot in this movie, and I liked how they wrote both of the characters. I could watch another movie with those two.
Yes.
Anything you got?
Not much. My voice is pretty dead.
I know. Mike is still getting better after being sick, and I was sick earlier this week, so yeah. It's been a rough week for us.
Yeah, my throat is still really sore.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that stood out to me.
I really hope people can hear me on the tape, with my throat. I don't know if it's too low to be picked up or anything, but I hope people hear me.
I can hear you.
Well, I don't know if the microphone picked it up.
Maybe we can do you want to try to do subtitles?
No. I'm not going to do subtitles if people can't hear me. I hope not. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Not really. It's a good movie.
It's a really simple movie with a small cast and...
Yeah, really small cast considering the entire human race and another race of alien creatures are all in this movie. It has it basically has, I think 5 actors. It has the mom, it has Tip, it has O, it has the captain, and it has his friend. What was his name? It wasn't Jeff. What was it?
Was it Bob?
No, it wasn't Bob. You know, when I have the cast list up, I will look. Kyle! Silly me. It was Kyle. Excuse me. And then it has a bunch of, random boob voices and other such. Matt Jones played Kyle. And I'm trying to figure out if we've seen him in anything. I don't recognize him of anything that's popping up so far. He's been in quite a few things, though. Let's see. Yeah, I'm seeing, nearly nothing that I'm recognizing. Nope, not really. He was on The Office for a little bit, but I think it was, after we stopped watching The Office. He's been in some other stuff. But the captain was... I think the captain's actually... I mean, I didn't like his character because he was kind of obnoxious and clearly was in the wrong. But he was played by Steve Martin, who doesn't... You can kind of pick up that it's Steve Martin, but it's not completely obvious. Because I think you didn't remember that it was him, right?
I did not remember it was him, but then when I saw it was him, I was like, oh yeah, I remembered it was Steve Martin.
But it was kind of nice to see him being goofy and, like, really liking specific items from Earth. Like, he was using a grill... Was it the bottom of a grill or the grill lid?
The bottom of a charcoal grill, not the lid, but the with the legs on the top.
Yeah, he used that as his crown. He was like, "Hold my crown! I only have one."
There's only one of those.
And he put on a tire on his head. And he was like, "Look, these Earthlings this planet gives us such great things. It's a headband. And then you have a spare tire." There's a lot of good, where he's like, this planet is so good, I don't want to leave it. It has so much stuff. Question though, like, there should be a lot more animals just like walking around.
Yeah, there should
like
be
a lot more stray cats and dogs.
And if their scanners could be so easily fooled by a cat.
Why aren't there more? I thought about that too.
Why aren't there more people who, didn't get picked up because they were holding pets?
I don't know. So, like I said, there are some flaws to this movie, but they're not, like, oh, I'm not going to see this movie because it doesn't explain what animals are up to right now. It was a fun movie, and I would definitely go to see it, and, or at least rent it when it comes out. I think it's really enjoyable if you're a fan of, like, good kids movies. I would definitely give it a watch. Anything else, Mike, or are we good?
It's a watchable kids movie.
Very watchable. So, Katie and Mike, justplainsomething.com, and we will see you later.